I'm trying to rush so I can shave my legs, okay? I think when you feel really sexy, you just surf so good. It's true! What? Everyone wants to be so macho and whatever. If you feel so sexy, catch all the waves. You do anything you want. Time for me to shave my legs.
Oh shit.
Goodbye.
I feel more comfortable in the water. Here I'm just about to like make my heart explode.
Obviously so different in competing and having like a time constraint on your surfing, but hopefully I can accurately showcase what I already do every time the waves get big.
Emily Erickson, good to see her back in a jersey here. Had a major injury at this event.
I guess like what scares me is a 2-wave hold down. That's probably like my worst fear.
Why did you go to Jaws again? Why did you do this ridiculous thing? Well, it's like doing the impossible.
Jaws is another animal.
I liken it to like, I started towing Jaws, and that's like lobbing mortars into an enemy compound, and paddling it is like running and jumping the wall in there.
Just being out there and feeling that energy and trying to catch a wave out there. I think my first session I may have caught like one wave, but I was so stoked.
Trying to figure out how to line that wave up. You are so vulnerable. You can't cover that much distance if a wave breaks further outside or if it shifts one direction or the other.
You know, it's intimidating because the Jaws lineup is sort of stretched out a little more than most big waves. You know, you have up the top, the North Peak, and then you have like the West Bowl, and you have somewhere in the middle.
Peahi is deep water wave poster child. You know, the way it comes in, the velocity and the amount of bump and reverberation from the cliff and wind usually, and the speed that it's going down the line. It's super intimidating.
Sam is so funny because I told her, I'm like, okay, we're gonna film this week. So she is kicking my ass this week training.
Oh,
like,
cool.
So she was like, okay, when they leave, just make sure you go into full recovery mode because there's swell on the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I need to make sure I can stand up on my board.
Izzy's doing good. It's a little tricky for her, I think, because Izzy is training at this pretty high level and kind of catching up as she goes along because we only have her part of the year. We don't have her all year round. I think she's ready for big waves at Jaws. I think where somebody like Paige has a little bit of an advantage is Paige will pick her windows really well. I think for someone like Izzy, who's a little bit more of a novice coming out there, she's gonna have to put in the time all day. And so she may be in a situation where she's a little more fatigued trying to catch a wave, and then we need her fitness to be super high so that she can perform to her max on that wave.
So we're just kind of in the middle of this little circuit, and I'm about to do some breaststroke push-ups. I have to do 8 of them. So I may or may not pass out. 8 or 24? 24. What?
It's 8. Breathe out, take 1 breath, do 8. Breathe out, take 1 breath, do 8 again. It's 24 total. I missed that part.
I'm seeing black right now.
Get one, good, that's where I wanted you to be. Do this one. That's where I wanted you to be.
I love like working for something and like just having the payoff is just like super rewarding because with stand-up paddling, it came so easy to me that now like the past couple years that I've been like really been working hard to get to where I am right now to be ready for this, it's like kind of made me realize that like hard work pays off. I was talking with my sports psychologist about this the other day, like exactly this subject. I was telling her, it's so annoying, like some people just go out there and they don't train at all and they like take a 20-footer on their head and they're fine. And she was like, see, I think training and like how you handle it is almost a double-edged sword because you kind of like calculate things almost too much to a point where you're like overthinking it. For instance, like the other person that hasn't been training, they almost don't really know like how bad it can be. I'm pretty calculated and an overthinker, so I need to kind of shut that down sometimes.
Stay upright, Izzy.
just gonna make this my home. Starting the week off right.
All right, I can go then.
Okay. We're done.
I always feel the last few years with like the JAWS competition kind of on the horizon, and maybe just since my knee injury there, although I went back and kind of squashed whatever like doubts I had after the injury, it still feels like such a stress.
Surfer in white, Emily Erickson, lay drop. Slide down the face of that wave. And so that is where you make the decision. Do I pull now my vest and inflate my vest, or do I pull it later?
It really clashes with the way that I do things, how I feel about surfing even. That's maybe why I get so stressed out.
I'm the worst. I'm like such a procrastinator. I'm just like, oh, God. Oh. Come back. Hi. Must be nice to be a cat. Chill. Don't have to surf big waves. I don't know why. Like, I'm not okay, maybe I'm a little bit of a procrastinator. But I thought that I wasn't procrastinating, and then of course, like, here I am, last half hour, still not ready. I took a few days off and I decided just to train before this competition. I didn't realize they would call the comp on, but I was just feeling like training for a few days. It's good to like switch it up, and I surf a lot anyways, so. We're supposed to have left by now. What else? Check, check, check. This thing is whoopsies. I'm supposed to be there already. Yeah, I just haven't been sleeping well. Like, I've been training and all this, but I've just been having like a weird sleep pattern lately, which I think kind of took it out of me. Nerves, maybe like from past trauma experiences, whatever, from wipeouts, especially Peahi. That always arises because I've had like some bad injuries there, and there he is.
Gotta get you to the contest. Let's go. You want me to drive? No. Derek Dorner just now goes, oh, you're taking Emmy to the airport? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, she won last year, so hopefully she wins again.
Hear that? Derek Dorner says that.
It's weird because it's guns. There's just something about it's a little bit above the size limit and it's a little bit above the weight limit.
How am I even gonna make the flight now? It's literally impossible.
This is what we go through. It's like, why? It's like a few extra pounds, just fucking take it. It's not the end of the world. It literally means everything to me right now. Mwah. Love you. Thanks for the boards and the friendship and the magic.
This is really, I would say, like my first solid winter, like living here and really like making a huge push to go and get some bigger waves. I love surfing so much. Like, I could not imagine my life without the ocean and surfing, and my goal is just to get comfortable in bigger surf, and I don't really care about the sponsors or like anything else. Surfing is so rad, and I just want to get good at it. It would be really nice to get a good clean swell, and maybe if I end up getting in the event, that would be really fun. I definitely wouldn't say I'm like super comfortable at JAWS yet, but if I just go out there and like have my respect for the wave and not get too like cocky, because I feel like that's when you start to kind of like put yourself in danger. There was like that one out of like those couple like right when we pulled up. But... It's so easy to go like start thinking of like the bad things that could happen out there, because I mean, Jaws is like such a wave of consequence. My mind tends to go to like getting worked and just like getting kind of like anxious and scared about that. But at the same time, I'm like, I've had so many times where I'm like freaking out and I get worked and I come up and I'm fine. So I just have to be aware of it and just catch myself when I start to go to that place and just quick like turn it around into like, you're fine, you can handle this, it's happened before. Like talking with my sports psychologist about it, she was like, what's the, like, where's the anxiety coming from? I'm like, I guess the fear of the unknown, because I haven't like taken a wave on the head yet, because I've made every single wave I've caught out there. Didn't catch a wave today, but I took like 4 on the head, so.
Getting caught inside by a really big wave, let's just use Peahi as an example, it usually goes a little something like this.
You sprint for a wave, so your heart rate is like elevated so high.
You have to start doing a math problem. How much energy am I willing to expend to possibly make it under this wave?
If you happen to fall and get the wind knocked out of you, now you've got no air. Now you're trying to find air as you're getting sucked over and sent to the bottom.
The difference between making it and not making it is either swimming through and not getting sucked over on a 60-footer, or you just put yourself in the worst possible position you could ever ask for.
It's like doing a 100-meter sprint, jumping off a 6-story building, and then holding your breath for 40 seconds while you're getting attacked by a bear.
It's being in the dark and getting like hit by a truck.
Do you try and fight for the surface? Do you relax in the bottom and try and just conserve your energy?
It's so loud and so violent that honestly, I think the violence almost helps you with your breath hold, because it knocks the sense out of you.
All the while you feel like you're getting ripped in 5 different places from the ocean. You know, your arm's going that way, your legs that way, your head's going that way.
And you're like, where the hell am I?
It's violent, man. It's really violent.
You have to make these decisions in a very rational way, and you have to live and die by those decisions and stick to that decision-making process and be at peace with it when it doesn't pan out. That's getting caught inside.
I feel alright. I could have slept more. Sometimes I have trouble sleeping. I dreamt of a meteor shower though, which was pretty cool. I feel fine. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, and I'm just gonna try to make the best of it and see what I can do, see what waves I can catch. Hopefully, you know, I find the waves and they find me today, and have some successful rides, and stay safe and walk off the boat later and on to the next adventure. Wow, that's pretty gnarly. That's literally humongous. The mental side of surfing to me is your strongest. So your decisions are like the key to that. Thinking about the Jaws event and surfing Peahi every time lately, like it seems like it's gonna be so windy, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. I wrestle with it because it's the only opportunity for women's big wave surfing, really. So what's gonna happen if you miss out on the one thing? In the midst of that, hard to like take your ego out of it and be like, okay, what's good, what's bad, what are people gonna think if I don't do this, or what are they gonna think if I wipe out? There's also, of course, like this lingering lesson from my knee injury there that I still deal with, and like the pain is kind of a reminder of the weight of the decisions that I've made in the ocean, and that's always with me. I wouldn't say it's a hurdle anymore, but it's definitely always with me.
This is the cbdMD Jaws Big Wave Championships.
And now, Emmy.
As we were expecting, Emily Erickson on that unique throwback equipment, single fin. She's gonna get a score. She's gonna take the lead, Pete. This is Annie. Oh, little fin drift there, and she goes down. See if we have any takers.
Yes, Michaela going for it. And that right there, to your feet. She get to see herself into the final.
Super windy conditions, and just sweep through the heat, I managed to get like some kind of chop into a wave and flying takeoff, and I see anything, went for it. Just have to get me into the finals. We'll see what happens. This wind is pretty brutal, so we're just doing our best.
This is the women's final of the cbdMD Jaws Big Wave Championship. Here we go with Paige Alms.
Nice.
First shot being fired by the two-time champ. Makes the drop, but then gets engulfed. On the paddle in the red jersey, this is Felicity Palmentier on the backhand. Emmy Erickson dropping through, can't hang on, getting blown out. But courage displayed by Emily Erickson. Here we go, big drop, and this is Annie Reichert making the drop, making the bottom, and is gonna complete this ride. We're down to 10 seconds, and seeing the ski so close to the competitors, I'm gonna say it's done and dusted.
Third, second?
Probably like fourth or fifth.
Oh, good.
I stood up on like a thing before I got blown off.
That was so gnarly, that wind.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the final results were, but yeah, it was crazy. We were dealing with like these gnarly winds and just made the best of the situation that cards we were dealt. And yeah, I managed to stroke into one, and I was kind of on the side, and I couldn't see anything, and there was so much wind, and I tried to go, and I felt the board under my feet wobbling in the air. I don't really know what was going on. I couldn't see, and I just fell off at some point, I think, and here we are in one piece. Live to surf another day.
In fifth place, Emily Erickson.
I think like a lot of guys are really obsessed with conquering the ocean, conquering Peahi. I think I've definitely been trying to make my own judgment on whether this Jaws Peahi competition is the way to proceed forward, just know what I should be doing with my energy and my time and whatever. I've been told that I have a responsibility to take part in that. People always want to group women together, especially with big wave surfing, like there aren't a lot of women, right? I'm like, no, I don't have a responsibility to do anything you want me to do. I'm literally just gonna do it the way I want to do it. But the influence was for sure there. And it's great to be given an opportunity finally in surfing and big wave surfing for women. That it's hard to pass it up, you know? You want to go out there and see what happens, and I think I'm going to continue to do so.
Winning the cbdMD Jaws Big Wave Championship. Let's give it up for Paige Alms. Paige, come on up here. Oh boy.
Paige left 5 minutes ago, so I'll be right behind her. Being a girl in the lineup at Jaws, I feel like usually when you see the most girls is during the contest. So to be able to like have someone like Paige really helping me out, it's making me feel a lot more comfortable out there. Like as a young girl who hasn't really like earned my place out there yet, it's just making me a little more comfortable. Like Paige and Ian have been so supportive.
Looks like the perfect day. Not her first time, but the perfect, probably real good swell that she's been out. It's gonna be super glassy and really nice conditions. Good day to launch the ski. It's not too crazy in Maliko.
It's a big deal, you know, to put yourself in that line of fire, to potentially like get that wave or the wave. It's a big ask.
Fear and panic is infectious, and you will never make a good decision if you're afraid or you're panicked. So these kind of extreme little lessons where you can't cheat the lesson when you're there, there's real consequences, I think has a ripple effect to other aspects in your life that's super beneficial.
I got like one really good one. All the others, like I would either stand up and just be like a little too late and kind of get blown out the back, or just wasn't in the right spot. Just ended up being such a fun day, and I got a couple waves, and it was just like the best feeling of everything I had tried so hard for the past couple years finally came together for like that moment for me to catch my first wave out there. I'm stoked, but I'm like disappointed because I'm like, I know I can do better, so Anyways.
Oh my God! What the hell? Hey, I think we were out there just a little too long.
A lot of people were questioning my choice of getting into big wave surfing at my age, because they're like, you know, that's something that you can do when you get older, because, you know, your endurance tends to get better when you get older. I just think it's another way for me to push myself and enjoy surfing, and I'm just always looking to learn and grow and push myself as a person and as an athlete, and I think I'll do it for as long as I can. I mean, I plan to do it for definitely at least the next 20 years. It's really fun.
So after the Peahi event, I was hoping to shoot over to Mavs to surf the swell after, travels from Hawaii to the west coast of California. And I was just feeling pretty tired. So I tried to get on the flight, and we were running late for the flight. So just kind of bailed on that and came home. Everyone who was on my boat, we all pretty much got seasick. And it just really takes a lot out of you. If you're on the boat for 8 hours and you're seasick, just trying to hold it together. And then you've got to go surf, giant waves, jaws. It's just nuts. So we bailed and came home. So there's more swell right now, and they were thinking of calling the eddy on today, but I guess the forecast wasn't really quite as big, quite as long time for the swell that they needed to run the event. So it's actually perfect because I really wanted to get in some more sessions.
This is my friend Donna. Emmy is we're talking 2 generations of Waimea surfers back, because I'm somewhat a little bit older than her. I used to, Roger Erickson was one of the guys taking off super deep on a single fin out at Waimea. Then Emmy comes up and it's the same board. You can imagine that, the same surfboard with Emmy Erickson holding the charge, and we're stoked because she knows how to hold her own out there. And few do, but I'm stoked about that.
Thanks, Ian.
Yay! Queen of the Bay. Yeah, Emmy's on.
Yeah, I mean, when they called the yellow alert for the eddy, I wasn't totally sure they were gonna have it, because I thought they needed bigger readings or something like that, but I had a moment where I had a little butterflies, and I was like, nah. Chill.
Emmy, she loves it. She was doing it before there was a tour for women, all that stuff. She's been doing it for a long time. So, I call up her all the time to go surf. She's one of my favorite people to go surf with.
I used to babysit Emmy. I remember her from when she was months old. I think Emmy has got an amazing style surfing big wave. Maybe the single fin fits better with her.
Single fin at Peahi, yes! That was epic, huh?
Yeah, we love it.
Aw, thanks for rooting me on.
The women are surfing better and better all the time, but there's this interesting performance disparity between the average male professional and the average female professional, whereas I see that surfing seems like a sport where it could actually be pretty even.
Realize surfing is not what it used to be, as in money or sponsorship, and big wave surfing is definitely on the lower end of that. So to think that you're gonna be a professional big wave surfer is a sort of hard to think about.
At this point in my life, it was good because I got to have an ego exorcism over the course of my career, just seeing the consequences and really asking hard questions with myself, why I'm doing something. Is it because I'm only known as this big wave risk taker guy, or do I not have a value outside of that? 10
years ago, I would say it was just a constant chase, never satisfied, bigger, better, gnarlier.
The most satisfying thing for me is just to see everything I've worked so hard for just paid off. So whether it's catching that one wave at Jaws, or whether it's me just unexpectedly going and winning a QS, I was like, oh, whoa, the training I just did for big wave surfing also paid off for surfing too. I definitely have the confidence now to know that I'm gonna be okay, so that gives me the reassurance to just go and just like catch more waves. Because that's like my main goal is I don't want to just sit out there for like 11 hours and catch 2 waves. Like I want to get more waves.
I feel like there's such a more important like story and lesson that I've taken from surfing outside of like the media, sponsorship, like look at me kind of vibe, that I almost feel like it's taboo to like approach it that way and use surfing for that. It's helped me in such a deeper way. But there's so much more than just surfing big waves, so I'm trying to find like these lessons that I learn in the water and that grand scope of things, just this little lucky human on a big wave.